Hello everybody and welcome back to Under the Heavens for what I suspect may be the final part of this demo. Just decided to do a little bit of a mini-series here. I've really been enjoying this, but I'm not sure how much left there is to go, so let's crack on. Day 3, Final Breath. Dawn does not bring light, it brings smoke drifting low across the river bend. It brings the stench of blood turned sour in the cold. It brings the groans of the wounded who did not die quickly enough in the night. The remaining men rise slowly. Nothing in them resembles the recruits who marched here 3 days ago. Their eyes are hollow, movements instinctive, bodies held together by will more than strength. The right flank is nearly unrecognisable. What was once a line of 7,000 is now a ragged skeleton of survivors tightening straps with trembling hands. General Kai Feng does not emerge. Word spreads he lives, but he is too weak to command. He's been tended by medics in a tent far from the front. Command has shifted. 5,000-man Commander Chen Yu stands atop a mound of broken shields, surveying the battlefield as if daring it to collapse again. His ribs are bandaged, his face is drawn, his voice still cuts through the January air. Listen well, he calls. The enemy failed twice, today they'll throw everything, all they have. His gaze drags across each formation. They want the river, they want our kingdom's throat, this flank is the last stone in their path. He points towards the horizon, and they know we barely stand. Your men swallow hard, one wipes mud from his eyes with a shaking hand. Commander Chen Yu lifts his chin, but we are still here, and that is enough to make them bleed. He steps down, leaving the final preparations to the officers. Your breath fogs in the cold, your wounds ache. Yet you have to choose how to prepare for the last day. How do you ready your shattered sector? Inspect weapons and armour. Reorganize your main troops into tight, desperate knot of shock absorption. Clear fallen weapons and shields to create a stable fighting lane. I like that idea. We're defensive, we're disciplined, we're very much about formation fighting. If I remember correctly. Yeah, disciplined, formation, defensive. We've really gone in for that. And some compassion as well, and unity. Haven't really done much in terms of flanking, pressure, aggressiveness. We want to keep a stable fight here. You drag aside splitted halves, broken blades, and bodies too torn to move. The ground becomes something your men can stand on without slipping. A last attempt at structure before the storm. It is done. Your hands stop moving, the work is finished. There is nothing left to adjust, nothing left to sharpen, nothing left to prepare. Around you, the right flank settles into a terrible silence. Men sit on a broken ground, some stare at the horizon. Others close their eyes and breathe slowly, as if storing each breath for what comes next. An officer walks past, checking the line one final time. He pauses beside you, nods once, and moves on without a word. Across the river, the enemy banners begin to shift. Day 3, the blade falls. Jim Howron has lost all patience. For 2 days he bled him, stalled him, made him pay for every step with bodies he can't afford to lose. Another day of this will cost him the war, so today he commits everything. Every cavalry unit that can still ride, every infantry formation still holding cohesion. Shock troops, reserve companies, veteran support from the flanks. Banners tilting forward across the entire line, like a wall of iron collapsing towards you. Only his personal guard remains behind, a tight cluster of maybe 2,000 surrounding his command position. That's it, that's all he's keeping back, because he knows your force is down to a few thousand. Exhausted, wounded, running on nothing but spite and desperation. He sees the math. He's betting everything on it. This is the killing blow. Your men watch the horizon darken, shadows stretching, the sound of thousands of boots shaking the earth. It looks like the whole world is watching to erase you. One recruit whispers, voice cracking. Are we meant to die here? We can't stop that. No one can. Their fear spreads like frost across the line. No horns of salvation sound, and reinforcements crest the hills. Just the grinding truth of what's about to hit you. Death is coming, and it has a name. The eyes turn to you, waiting for strength you're not sure you have. How do you steady them when the end feels certain? Breathe, one more battle, one more hour, one more heartbeat together. With that wall, let it come, we'll make them pay for every step. Listen to me, we die only if we break, stay with me. Let's do that one. Unity, defensiveness, formation, that's what we're good at. You put a hand on each shoulder, grounding them. Breath steadies, fear becomes something they can hold. The enemy charge builds like a collapsing mountain. Their boots drum the earth. Their banners snap and your men brace for impact. Then suddenly, horns. Enemy horns. The entire enemy midline halts. Officers look backward in confusion. You follow their eyes and see banners rising behind them. 5,000 man commander Liu Sheng charging downhill into the enemy's rear. If the enemy does not fall back immediately, their general dies. At that moment, your general emerges from the tent, barely standing, bloody, swaying but alive. His voice is a raw whisper that somehow cuts through the chaos. Pin them down. This is your order. If you buy the hammer seconds, the battle ends here. Your men look to you. How do you pin them down? Rally the scattered, multiple threats. Surge forward, lock them down, or lock shields and grind forward. Lock shields, grind forward. You crash into their front and refuse to disengage. Shield edges bite, spears tangle, each step forward costs blood, but they are trapped in the fight. You see it clearly now. If they turn, they live. If they stay, they die. You give them no choice, you crash into them. Give us a good roll here. Why would you give us a 4? That's horrendous. It's a dreadful roll. Your formation collapses almost instantly. Enemy bodies smash into you like a breaking wave. Your men are thrown apart. For a terrible second, the right flank begins to fold again. If the hammer is late, you are all dead. The sound hits before you see it from behind the enemy lines. Banners explode into view. Fresh, unstained, moving with the terrible certainty of troops who haven't spent 3 days bleeding. Commander Liu Sheng, 5,000 cavalry moving at full speed with everything behind them. They hit without hesitation, and whoever is in the way becomes the road. The enemy rear collapses. Soldiers who are pushing forward suddenly twist around, trying to face a threat they can't see coming. Formations buckle, flanks cave inward. And Liu Sheng doesn't stop, doesn't engage the main force, doesn't get dragged into the grinding meat of the battle, cuts straight through. A spear aimed at one target, Jin Ha-ron's personal guard. There's Liu Sheng, 5,000 man commander. You don't see the moment it happens, you're too far. The chaos is too thick, dusts and bodies, and the screaming mass of thousands of soldiers realizing the ground is shifting beneath them. But you see the result. Jin Ha-ron's banner, towering, proud, untouched for 3 days of hell, suddenly jerks, twists, falls. For one heartbeat, the battlefield freezes. Then the scream rises. Thousands, tens of thousands, the sound of an army realizing its head just got taken. That the man who dragged them here, who promised them victory, who swore they'd crush this pathetic resistance, is dead. Liu Sheng carves through the elite guards. Elite formations throw themselves forward in waves, trying to stop the cavalry before they reach the general. Shields raised, spears braced. The best soldiers Jin Ha-ron had left. It doesn't matter. Liu Sheng went through them one at a time. The last distance was the hardest, but he got to the general and took his head. Retreat horns blow, but it's already too late. The enemy do not retreat, they break. Officers abandon formations, soldiers throw down weapons and shields. The organised war machine becomes a stampede of bodies scrambling for any direction that isn't here. Men trampling each other, cavalry units scattering, entire companies dissolving into the landscape. Kai Feng lowers his sword. His hand is shaking from the weight of still being alive when he shouldn't be. Around you, your men stand frozen, too exhausted to cheer, too broken to process that you're not corpses yet. You live another day, you're not sure how. Your remaining soldiers drift towards you, battered, swaying, eyes glassy but alive. You reach out and steady them with your hands, gripping shoulders, forearms, anything solid. For a moment, nothing else in this world matters. What do you do? Move down the line, change bodies and gear, meet their eyes one by one before turning away. Let's do that one. Cunning, compassion, scouting. You did exactly what you were meant to do, you say, no louder than needed. A pause. Now we walk out of this. They nod, every one of them. The battlefield begins to quiet, orders are shouted across distant positions, wounded are carried towards the medical tents. Someone is counting bodies. Your unit starts moving back towards the camp line, slow and unsteady. No one speaks. There's nothing left to say the blood hasn't already written. And Day 3, the cost of victory. Night settles over a battlefield that no longer feels real. Medics still drag the wounded towards lantern-lit pavilions. Surviving officers walk like ghosts, delivering casualty lists and shaking hands. The river's edge glows with torchlight, reflecting a victory no one fully believes. You and your surviving men stand among the remnants of the right flank, too tired to speak, too alive to collapse. A horn sounds. A low, mournful note reserved for the fallen. Every soldier straightens. Every whisper dies. Commander Dai Ming, now acting commander of the entire river defense, steps forward, holding a slate of names. His voice is rough, scraped raw by 2 days of shouting orders. Names of the dead. The list is long enough that the soldiers look down rather than meet each other's eyes. Your own breath tightens as familiar names drift into silence. When the final name is spoken, Commander Dai Ming lifts another slate, a smaller one. And now, promotions for service under impossible strain. You do not expect to hear your name, but you do. 5-man leader Qian. A murmur ripples through the battle formation, and you step forward. Commander Dai Ming studies you with the hard recognition of someone who has seen your actions written in blood. For holding the line, for striking down the enemy's 3,000-man commander, for keeping soldiers alive when collapse was near. He rests a heavy hand on your shoulder. You are promoted to 10-man leader. Still feels quite far off from 3,000-man commander, but a promotion's a promotion. A messenger lifts a small lacquered token, a card strip denoting your new authority, and places it in your hand. It feels heavier than its weight. Behind you, Huang Yao and the rest of your surviving men straighten, proud, exhausted shadows in the firelight. Commander Dai Ming continues, you will not return to the recruitment camp. You and your unit are reassigned by direct battlefield recommendation. Another figure approaches. It is 5,000-man Commander Shen Yu, rib-bandaged, armor dented. He looks you over, slow and deliberate. You're coming with me, he says. There is a place for you under my banner. You will rebuild your 10-man team from survivors and newcomers of my camp. A rare thing happens. He nods once, not to acknowledge your promotion, but to acknowledge you. You earned this with blood, and he knows it. The ceremony ends not with fanfare, but with exhaustion. 5,000-man Commander Chen Yu waits at the edge of the firelight, patient as a stone, ready to take you to your new command. The Chronicle has written your name in fresh ink, but the ink is still wet, and war is far from finished with you. Get some sleep, Chen Yu says. We march in 2 days. You don't sleep. Every time you close your eyes, you see his blade coming down, feel the mud grabbing your boots, smell the copper-thick air. Day 1, your hands won't stop staking. Said that wrong, didn't I? Day 1, your hands won't stop shaking. Day 2, they stopped. Day 3, they moved before you thought to move them. You turn your hands over in the darkness. The same hands, but something in you has shifted. Your past decisions have taken you to a new trait. The realization sinks in, does not let go. You have gained Fortress Mind. A truth you had no choice but to learn when the world tried to erase you. Your formations don't bend, every angle calculated, every pressure point reinforced. Structure when others devolved into chaos. 3 days of war, this is what they left you with. A scar that can't be seen, but you carry with you for the rest of your life. Maintain structural integrity in formation under sustained pressure. So we're foundational, and we have integrity. That's what I wanted. Good. Two days later, the march to camp begins. The riverfront disappears behind you in a haze of smoke and the stench of unburied dead. What was once a thrown together force of border troops and half-trained recruits is now a column of veterans. Wounded, limping, hollow-eyed veterans, marching under the banner of 5,000-man Commander Chen Yu. 2,000 walk, another 2,000 wounded ride in the carts. No one speaks loudly. Every step is the echo of men who expected to die yesterday. Rumours drift through the comm like thin smoke. General Kaifeng is alive. Breathing again. They say he woke long enough to ask the casualty reports. He's recovering. Each whisper softens something in the faces around you. A living general means the world has not ended. The march lasts several days. Wounded ride in wagons, others lean on spears or on each other. Your few surviving men move closer, quieter than you remember them ever being. On the fourth evening, the horizon breaks open. The camp. Commander Chen Yu's headquarters spread across the terraced hillside, built for efficiency. Watchtowers, training yards beaten flat by years of drills, rows of tents and timber longhouses arranged with the veterans' precision. As the column enters through the northern gate, workers, smiths, scribes, and junior officers pause to watch, with the quiet respect reserved for those who survived a thing others cannot imagine. An adjutant steps forward, saluting the commander. Survivor lodgings prepared, Commander. Commander Chen Yu gives a single nod. All new attachments to Commander Chen Yu form by squads. Follow for lodging assignment. Orders ripple through the survivors. You and your remaining men fall into formation, forming the line of adjutants up the terrace. That's going to be hard to say. Your lodging is a simple timber longhouse, spare, dry, and stable. A luxury compared to 3 nights in blood-soaked mud. Your men collapse into bedrolls without ceremony. One murmurs as he slides down the wall. Feels strange walking away from a battlefield. For the first time in days, night passes without steel or screams. And a week later, the camp wakes to the sound of arriving boots. Fresh recruits, replacements, transfers from inland garrisons. Dozens climb the terraces, carrying assignment scrolls in the uncertain posture of soldiers about to be thrown into someone else's war. A runner appears at your doorway. 10-man leader Qian, report to the southern yard. Your newcomers have arrived from the recruitment barracks. You step outside, your men rise with you, tired, scared, but standing. It is time to rebuild your unit. The southern yard fills with the sound of boots and shouted orders. Rows of fresh recruits and transfers stand with assignment scrolls clutched against their chests. Some look proud, some look terrified, some just try to look like they belong. A scribe approaches you with a lacquered tablet. 10-man leader Qian, by record of the river engagement, these soldiers are now attached to your file. He unfurls the scroll. Casualties in your file weren't recorded. He taps 3 names lightly with the end of his brush. These 3 carry notable instructor remarks in the training barracks and border drills. Their records stand out. He steps aside as the assigned soldiers line up before you. Sun Ri, Ryu, Li Feng, and Zhu Liang. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you on board. So yeah, we've now got 5 soldiers. Which we can learn more about as time goes on. 3 additional rank and file recruits stand behind them. Their true strengths will reveal themselves in drills and battles. Your surviving men shift behind you, stand the newcomers with the quiet intensity of soldiers who know exactly what kind of hell awaits them. One of your veterans murmurs under his breath, "Look at them, just like we were." Not for long. The scribe salutes. 10-man leader, they are yours. You lead them up towards your lodging on the second terrace. They follow in a loose, unsure line, trying to match the step of the veterans who already carry the river in their eyes. At the doorway of your longhouse, all eyes turn to you. They wait for your welcome. How do you welcome your new unit? Eat, rest, tomorrow we become one unit. Relief flickers across several faces. Gratitude mixes with uncertainty as they file inside. The day passes in the rhythm of soldiers learn to breathe as one. Around the fire, your veterans tell the stories of the riverfront, the mud, the screaming, the moment the flank nearly broke. The newcomers listen with wide eyes, some leaning forward, some gripping their knees. Huang Yao describes the duel you fought, voice low and steady, how the enemy commander fell. The newcomers glance at you differently after that. You watch them, learn their names, notice who asks questions and who stays silent, who sits close to the veterans and who keeps distance, who has the eyes of someone who might survive this. By nightfall, they're no longer strangers, not yet brothers, but no longer strangers. At dawn, a runner appears at your door. 10-man leader Qian reports to the 100-man captain's pavilion. Your men go quiet. You straighten your cloak and follow the runner up the terrace steps. The pavilion is a broad frame of oak beams and red cloth, open on one side to the training yards. Inside, a single man sits behind a low table. Cao Renhai, 100-man captain. His hair is threaded with grey, a thick scar cuts from jaw to ear. He does not stand when you enter. 10-man leader Kian, sit down. An adjutant passes him a scroll. He reads it without saying anything for a while. River engagement, right flank, 3 days, held a bed of cavalry and infantry. He looks up briefly, then back at his scroll. Kept cohesion when it should have broken. Duel with the enemy's 3,000-man commander, officer killed. He sets the scroll down, looks at you properly now. I'm trying to decide, he says, whether that was the kind of thing a soldier does because they are good or because they were lucky. If he had died in that duel, what would have happened to that flank? Someone else would have stepped up. He studies you, the smallest nod. You understand. No man holds a line alone. Good. He rolls the scroll closed. 10 men. He sets it aside. 10 lives and 10 ways to fail them and yourself. And opens another scroll. Within that 10 we form smaller units, 5-man leaders. You may recommend 2 soldiers. He looks up. Recommendations only. Approval remains with me and the officers above me. His eyes narrow a fraction. Think carefully. A poor leader kills more men than any spear. He gestures for you to speak. Who do you put forward? You think of the soldiers under your command. Veterans of the river. So there's Huang Yao, river veteran who stood beside you when the flank bent and did not break, or Yang Kui, river veteran, bled in the mud and kept fighting when the others fell. And you also have our newcomers, Sun Ryu, promising under pressure, Li Feng, strong initiative, and Zhu Liang, unusual potential, watch closely. You can put up to 2 names or decide that no one is ready. Is Yang Kui ready? He's an adaptive survivor. He's a fierce protector. And a guiding shadow. Is he ready? I don't know. I think only Huang Yao is ready to become a 5-man leader. Your command has expanded. You can now assign officers to specialist roles within your unit. Rarer officers provide greater bonuses when it matters most. You name the only one you trust completely. You give only 1 name. He raises an eyebrow but doesn't comment on it. Cautious, or you don't trust the rest yet? Huang Yao approved. The second position stays open. Fill it when someone owns it. He rolls the skull closed. Go. Make your 10 into something that doesn't die easily. You leave the pavilion. He is already working on the next report before you leave the doorway. You can now assign your officers to specialist roles. Huang Yao will be our first lieutenant. Or he can stay as a trusted officer. And we'll get into that as that becomes more relevant. Your unit is small, 10 souls including yourself. But every army, no matter how battered, must define its bones. Under higher ranks, companies divide into vanguard, lines, scouts, archers, supports, engineers. With only 10 men, your structure is not separate squads, but intent. How your file will move, hold, strike, and survive. Kao Ren Hai's the words echo in your mind. Make this tent into something that does not die easily. You get your soldiers outside your quarters, all watching you with the wary respect earned along the river. Now you must decide how your 10 will fight. How will your 10-man unit operate? Line core, tight cohesion, discipline ranks. I think that's the one we're going to have to go for. That's what we're good at. You set your strongest shields to the front, your steadiest men in the middle. Orders are simple, clean and unbroken. Your fire becomes the knot that does not loosen. You walk down the line, adjusting grips, spacing, posture. Your chosen 5-man leaders step forward. Huang Yao speaks your commands with quiet authority, filling gaps until the second leader earns their place. When you step back, the file stands differently, clearer, sharper, more certain of itself. Kao Ren Hai passes nearby, glances your formation once, says nothing, and keeps walking. But the glance alone means something. Night folds over the camp like a heavy cloak. Fire crackles along the terraces. Most soldiers sleep where they sit, but your file remains awake. You gather your 2 5-man leaders around a low lantern. Faces glow in the shifting amber light, bandages stark against exhaustion. The river battle taught you many lessons. You learned what breaks men, what keeps them alive, and what your own hands reached for when everything fell apart. From here, you say quietly, we choose how we fight. What formation do you drill into them first? Iron Wall. We're going all in on formation and defences. Your men picture instantly the shape of survival, a wall that refuses to move. Your file takes in the concept, weighing it. No one moves, no one speaks, they all understand what this choice means. A formation is not a pattern, it is a promise, a future. Iron Wall became the seed of something far larger than tonight. For the coming weeks and months beyond, your 10-man unit will hammer this idea into them. Morning after morning, you'll drag them into the trailing terraces. Evening after evening, you'll correct spacing, grips, footwork, angles of advance or retreat. Your file will rise before dawn, collapse after dusk, and sleep with the formation still echoing in their muscles. By the time the next battle horns call the army to march, your men will not merely know this formation, they will become it. Tonight, though, it is only the first spark. Weeks pass, dawn after dawn, your voice echoes across the terraces. Your 10 rise with stiff backs and aching legs, but they all rise the same. The formation you chose, Iron Wall, becomes a rough idea. A sketch in the mud, a pattern they stumble through. But repetition forges men. Shields lift with cleaner timing, footwork sharpens, spacing tightens, or loosens as required. Breath falls into unified cadence. Your 2 5-man leaders grow into their roles as well. Huang Yao drills the newcomers with quiet steadiness, while your second leader pushes the slow ones with sharp commands. I'm guessing we just have a nondescript second-man leader that we haven't chosen. Some nights you correct stances until torchlight dies, some mornings you drill until the sun burns away the mist. The terrace becomes your anvil, your men become the steel. Morale changes too, not cheerful, never that, but settled. Committed. A quiet understanding that this 10-man unit is no longer a handful of survivors, but a formation with purpose. During a rare evening rest, your 5-man leaders sit beside you. Whatever comes next, we won't like raw recruits anymore. You sit with that one for a while, neither of you says anything after it. One more week of drills before the hounds sound again. How do you spend it? We're going to strengthen morale and camaraderie. You build bonds that will hold when everything else breaks. By the end of the 3rd month, your 10 stand straighter, move cleaner, react faster. Their eyes no longer wander. The look of soldiers have been forged and not merely trained. Our formation has taken form, our file has become a unit. Soon battle horns will call again. The difference is within. No army survives the battle without gathering ghosts. After weeks of drills, the camp settles into a rhythm, but beneath the surface, fault lines show. A messenger from headquarters passes by with scrolls. Officers whisper outside pavilions. Veterans trade glances that say more than words. Tonight, a disturbance reaches your unit. 2 soldiers stand apart from the fire pit, voices low, but sharp enough to cut the quiet. Yang Qiu, a river veteran whose blade shook through the first battle, and Li Feng, a newcomer with a promising record, but an ego still too brittle. Your 5-man leaders notice the tension before you do. They've been sucking each other for days. This is going to break something if you don't step in. You approach them just as the argument cracks open. You talk like you've seen war, but you weren't there when the river boiled with bodies. I don't need your memories, I followed the formation better than you ever did. Your unit goes silent, this is more than pride. If you let it, it can break the line under pressure. How do you address the conflict? Confront them both with firm discipline. Speak proudly to both of them. Let your senior 5-man leader handle it, or break the tension with harsh humour and raw truth. Remind them that death does not care who argues louder. You go through the tension with a blunt reminder of what they face. Laughter rises, but the edge is real. The argument dissolves, but the lesson lingers. Your file watches how you carried yourself, how you set boundaries, how you chose to guide or cut through conflict. It shapes how they'll follow you when orders become screams and formations twist into chaos. Tonight the fire burns low. Your 10 settle into rough shorthand glances. The beginning of trust that is earned. The weeks of drilling forges new rhythms into camp life. Your 10 move with cleaner steps. Your 5-man leaders begin to sound like officers. The raw chaos of the river battle becomes a memory, scarred but steady. One evening, as you leave the training terraces, a familiar voice cuts across the walkway. Still alive, I see. Who are you? Jin Wai, bandaged arm, confident smirk, now wearing the insignia of a 10-man leader. He steps closer, boots scraping lightly on packed earth. I watched you fight that commander. You made a mess of it, but you won. Guess we're climbing the same ladder now. He tilts his head, studying you. So tell me, do you think you're ahead of me, or did you just get lucky at the river? We both stood our ground, that's all that matters. You choose unity over competition. The rival snorts softly. Huh, maybe. But next time, try not to steal all the dramatic moments. He gives one final nod. Competitive, respectful, hungry for future arcs. Next time we march, try not to die before I beat you to promotion. He turns and walks off into the torchlight. A week later, drills continue. Your formation sharpens, your 10 begin to look like a true unit. One morning, as fog clings to the terraces, a runner stops before you. 10-man leader Kiana, Captain Kai Renhao, requests your presence. Your fire watches you leave, quietly, respectfully. Kai Renhao waits on a ridge overlooking the drill fields. His cloak moves in the wind. He doesn't turn when he hears you. Your unit changed. He watches the drill fields blow. Fewer flinches, cleaner movement, less noise in their feet. Then he looks at you. You killed Commander at the river. That is noted. His eyes hold yours with the cold assessment of a man who's watched 1,000 promising officers die screaming in the mud. Do you know what that means, killing an officer? First real engagement. He doesn't wait for an answer. Talent for violence. It's useful but dangerous. I bury more gifted killers than I promoted. They charge when they should hold. They hunt glory instead of victory. And they all die young. He is to see if you'll say anything, and you don't. He seems to approve of that. Then quieter, but what matters more is this. Your 10 follow you with a trust that cannot be ordered. He walks a few steps forward, watching other units train. I've seen officers rise fast and burn out faster. I do not want that for you. He turns for you now. Tell me what makes a leader last. Keeping the men alive, giving clear orders, knowing when to hold and when to strike back, or understanding people as much as formations. I think that one. You speak with thoughtful consideration. Then you won't rise alone, he says. That's something. He looks at you a while longer, then the drill yard again. Keep working your 10. We'll see what you're made of when the horns sound. He walks back down the bridge, the limp is still there, a little worse in the cold. Months pass, seasons shift on the terraces. Your 10 drill until their muscles burn, until your chosen formation lives inside their bones. Kai Renhai watches from a distance, rival officers sharpen their own files. Rumours of new fronts move through camp like restless wind. Then, one cold morning, you hear the horns again. This time it's the war horns, the long steady call that means the army is moving out. Your men gather outside your quarters, packs ready, armour strapped, faces hardened by months of discipline and memory. Some are river survivors, some are new rawcomers. Did I say new rawcomers? That doesn't sound very right. Some were raw newcomers, you hammered into soldiers. Now they stand as one file, your file. Before you lead them to the mustering yard, they wait for your words. How do you address them? On the morning the army marches again. We train for this, stand firm and trust each other. Your voice cuts through the morning cold, and steady and unshakable. Every drill, every formation, every moment your muscles screamed and you kept moving, it was for this. I don't need heroes, I need you standing beside each other when everything turns to chaos. Do that and we walk off that field together. They nod sharply, no theatrics, no false bravado. Just the quiet certainty of soldiers who know their officer won't waste their lives on glory. The horn sounds again, long, steady, unmistakable. Your 10 forward to step beside you. No longer recruits, no longer scatters survivors. A formation shaped by blood, discipline, and the long months that forge them into something more. You lead them towards the mustering yard, their footsteps match your own, a quiet strength settles around you. The Chronicle turns a page, and here, for now, the ink pauses. The lantern light fades, the drums of the 7 states echo across the dark. Your 10-man unit marches towards its next campaign, and the Chronicle waits for the hand that will write what comes next. And there we go. That is the demo. Thank you for playing. There is more to come, more officers to recruit, promotions to earn, battlefields to conquer. In the full game, you will earn more traits, develop a tactical doctrine, build a reputation, and equip new weapons. Each comes with a cost. The war continues with your support. Yes, indeed, the link for this game will be down in the description if you wish to try out the demo for yourself. I'm not entirely sure when this is due to come out. It may not have a release date yet, but I've very much enjoyed my time with this. I like these kind of games. I like these games a lot. You can see that throughout my channel on stuff like Scissorin, on the Life and Suffering of Brante, on 80 Days. You know, there's plenty of games like this that I've really enjoyed. So we may well see this back on the channel in future when it comes out as a full game. We should just have to see. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me for this mini-series. Take care. Bye-bye.